Hello and welcome back. I am very excited to finally be showing you our kitchen renovation. After destroying a lean-to, swapping out windows, installing a lintel, as well as new double doors, raising floors, bricking up side doors, fixing a collapsed ceiling, and not to mention installing and decorating a kitchen, it's safe to say it's been one of the more challenging rooms of the house. But all of that work was so worth it, so that this could finally turn into this. Okay, so the grand tour. I'll kind of just take you around the kitchen here. First up is the fridge. Little sneak peek into the fridge. We as you can see, meal prep quite a bit. Also get Green Chef, so we've always got those delivery kits on the way. This is very boring, but one thing that you might have noticed is our first screw up. The fridge and the freezer share the same door, whereas this door is meant to be split into two. Obviously, it can look nicer with one big panel, which Tom thinks it does, but obviously every time you open it, you're letting out loads of extra cold air from the freezer. So not ideal, but it was a mistake. Another thing that you might be thinking is where are our bins if you watch this, so I'll just start by showing you in here. We actually put our bins in this room. We built some shelves and then we've just got a bin down there. We originally had access to the bin through here. So you walked into this room and then you could get access around there. But we did want kind of wall-to-wall counters. So we decided to make the access from here instead. And then that way we could get access to the bins. And we wanted the bins out of the kitchen just because we needed all of the space that we could get in the counters. Moving on, you move to this bit here. This is just our teas and coffees. We've got teas, coffees, cups for the go, mugs, etc. Moving down, you've got the coffee station. This kettle and this toaster are still the same from the renovation. Definitely something that we want to replace, but not a priority. And then moving down, we've got our cutlery drawer. I don't know if you remember the debacle that we got DIY kitchens and then no IKEA cutlery drawer would fit. So this is just one from Amazon, and you can, I don't know if you can see, but it's actually extendable. So it works for any size drawer. Then we have all of our plates and our bowls. And then we have the random drawer. This is just clean cloths, single plate, use plates, etc. for when we entertain. There's a random salad bowl down there somewhere. This is just random stuff. Moving on, we have our extractor fan. We also have the quartz going all the way up to the extractor fan. Now this, I think, was a really good call. We do get splashes either side quite a bit. We're constantly cleaning, and I did just paint over for the sake of the video. But without this, I think the back would be an absolute mess. So we paid a bit extra for that. We weren't sure about it because it was a couple of £100, but I'm so glad that we did. Then we have our hob and our oven. To be honest with you, if I could go and do it again, I would get, I think it's an induction hob or just one of those flat hobs. This can be a bit annoying to clean, and it has aged fairly quickly. We've only had this kitchen installed for I think 10 months or so, and it gets scratched. It's not the best hob. So yeah, I think next time I would just get one of those black ones. I do think it looks a bit sleeker now. And I might have this wrong, but one of you did mention once that gas is actually a lot worse for the environment, which I had no idea of. So maybe I would change that if I went back, but it was cheap. It doesn't cause us any issues. It works just fine. And then we have our oven. This we barely ever use, and it's because of the air fryer just over there. Definitely the star of the show in the kitchen. It's basically all we cook with. But an oven is still an essential, so we've got one of those there. Moving on is my absolute baby. It's the spice drawer. This is my favorite thing ever. If you watched one of the kitchen videos, we went to Morrison's and we just completely stocked up. It was a great day. This is a great drawer. I love it. And then moving up here, you can see the glass cupboards. This is just all of our glassware. Nothing too special. And then you can probably peek the one thing that we haven't yet completed, and this is just the wine rack. We basically, to finish, just need to fill in this with expanding foam, as we've done very terribly there, cut it down, and then we just need to paint it so that it's the same color as the cabinets, and we've got some spare paint from DIY Kitchens for that. Moving down, you can see our little knife area, blender, toaster, and then coming down here, we have more, oh, something is blocking this from opening. More kitchen utensils, an absolute mess, but honestly doesn't bother me. Moving down, all of our pots and our pans, and then finally, more cooking stuff, just bowls, trays, etc. Coming to this side of the kitchen, we have another floor to ceiling unit. One of my other favorite things that we've done is actually put the microwave in the unit. We do have to leave this door open every time we're using it because it does get quite steamy. But as you can see, with the limited counter space that we have, I'm actually very happy that we thought of doing this ahead of time. It just frees up the counters for cooking. And then, along with the spice drawer, my favorite part of the kitchen is our pantry. So we've got 4 drawers going down, and these drawers pull all the way out so that you can fully see what is in them. I know in kind of old kitchens or traditional kitchens, it's just shelves and you lose track of what you've got, and yeah, they get a mess. This is so easy to keep organized. I love it. I'm really glad that we did this. You can also see here, because we love our meal delivery kits, we have a lot of the spices for the meals that were never made. This is actually handy too, because if you can't be bothered to cook, you just pull something out, like a red Thai curry paste, and some black rice that you never used, and then just go get some coconut milk and veggies and you've got a meal. So that's actually pretty handy. Then moving here, these are just our shelves. We've got some cookbooks, some chopping boards, some decorative things that we always end up using because we will, for example, run out of pasta and then someone will cook with this, but I'm not very good at keeping them filled. As I said, the air fryer, star of the show. Moving down, this is the everything drawer. It's just that drawer that you dump your stuff in, basically. Some no more nails, a scale, some tobacco, a real mishmash. Moving down, we have Tupperware. We, as you saw with the fridge, prep a lot of meals, have a lot of leftovers. We take lunch to work almost every day, so we got lots of those. And then below, gym stuff, so shakers, protein powders, etc. Not very exciting. Then moving here, we have the sink. I love the double sink. I don't think we needed it. It's not as though, you know, we're constantly doing piles of washing, but because it's so big, it's nice to, as you're using the kitchen throughout the day, just dump your stuff in this side and then wash up in that side instead of leaving everything on the side. I think it's a really small point, and we probably could do with the counter space, but I actually think it works quite well because we do most of our cooking on that little area there. However, one of the things I would say is the shape of the sink. I think it looks a lot nicer than a curved one, but it's a nightmare to clean. All of the dirt gets stuck in these little corners and in these crevices, and you're constantly having to scrub at them. So I don't think it's the most practical sink, but I do like the look of it. Down here, I did consider not showing you because yeah, this is what it looks like. It's a mess. We need to put a shelf in here. We need to do some organization, but this is basically just all of the cleaning stuff and all of the shopping bags. Then moving up here, again, just some decorative pots, more cookbooks, some glasses, some chopping boards, fruit, which is for decorative purposes. All of that always stays in the fridge. And then finally, the washing machine. The dishwasher rather. Don't speak to Tom about this brand he absolutely hates. I will admit it's a bit shitty at cleaning, but if you put it on this setting, it does a much better job. For some reason, Tom doesn't feel that dishes should be rinsed before they go in the dishwasher. I feel like they definitely should. I'll let you guys weigh in on that in the comments, but that's basically it. Another mistake that we made, you can probably see it pretty easily if I back up like this. The sink is not perfectly underneath the windowsill. This was partly a mistake, but it was partly the way we designed the kitchen. So this, I believe, is a 40 centimeter unit. The dishwasher is a 60 centimeter unit. To get this perfectly under there, you would need the dishwasher here, and you would need that over there. The problem with this is that when the dishwasher is open, it's in the middle of your kitchen and it kind of stops a natural walkway. I thought probably it would be better to have this here and that there, but now that we're actually cooking in the kitchen, I mean, how often do you just have your dishwasher hanging open? Not often, so I probably didn't need to do that and could have switched them and have a slightly more symmetrical kitchen, but it's not the worst thing in the world because I do think having this space and then a space in the corner looks a bit nice too. But yeah, maybe I'm trying to justify it. I will admit this being off-center does make me want to scream every time I notice it. A couple of things I did want to mention, some conscious decisions that we made. You might have noticed that all of the drawers are pull out. We don't have any open cupboards except for the one under the sink. The reason that we did that was just organization. I think when you have things that open, stuff gets lost at the back. It's not easy to see what you have. It just gets messy. So every single thing, including the pantry and the plates and cutlery and all of that stuff, everything is a pull-out drawer. That was an amazing decision that we made. I'm really happy with that. And then we did decide, even though we were low on storage, we did decide to do shelves on one side of the kitchen and units on the other side. And I just pretty strongly felt like having units going bottom and top, both sides of the kitchen, especially because you had these two full-length units, would just look too busy and enclose the kitchen too much, especially because the side with the shelves is next to a window, so it doesn't block any light. The light can come straight through to all of the kitchen. Also, we did decide to move the boiler and the washing machine up to the bathroom. The bathroom is the room exactly above this. It's exactly the same size, and we just knew we needed a lot more space in our kitchen than we did in our bathroom. So that was a lot of extra work, but I think very, very worth it. When I think about the space we would have in this kitchen with a boiler and with a washing machine, it would be a very tight squeeze. So happy that we made that decision too. And then I guess the final thing, how much did all of this cost? The kitchen was definitely the most expensive room of the house. I think that's to be expected with the appliances and the quartz and all of that stuff. It's also the room that we spend the most time in, so I was more than happy to invest in a few areas here. One of the key places we invested were the back doors. As I've said a million times, I love the light that comes from these back doors. It completely changed the look of the kitchen versus what it looked like before. And we went for quartz countertops, which again cost a little bit more, but it was one area that we really wanted to splurge. I do love the quartz, I love that it's white, but we have already got some stains, so you have to be super on it. But even with the risk of staining, I don't actually think I would change it if I went back and did it again. So take from that what you will. Now for the breakdown of costs. We've got absolutely everything. I've split this into a few different categories. So, building material. The aluminium window was £360. The French doors were £1,920. The damp-proof membrane that we put down was a tenner. The skirting board was £30, the architrave was £30, the concrete lintel that we installed above the double doors to make it structurally sound, that was £55. The 6 spotlights that you see in the kitchen were £36. The socket boxes were £2, the switch boxes were £2. Tom really has included everything in this. The aluminium ducting hose. What's an aluminium ducting hose?
For the vents.
The aluminium ducting hose for the vents was £28. The steel USB socket was £22. The 3 other sockets were £27 altogether. And the herringbone flooring for this room was £120. So that is all the building equipment. Then we got the kitchen units in. Whole kitchen, including the quartz, was £5,840, and then we paid another £22 for a wine rack from Wix because we didn't get that in our original order. All of our handles were £95, and then our floating shelves, which we went for, instead of the units at the top, were £40. The reason that we bought handles elsewhere is that we just didn't like the handles in DIY kitchens. This was during mine and Tom's black obsession. So we got black handles, but I'm really happy we did. I think they make the kitchen look a lot more modern. And because they were just £95, if and when they go out of style, I'm sure they will at some point, we can just change them to, again, modernize the kitchen. So a really easy thing to switch out, whereas for the color of the units, I think we stayed a little bit more traditional and a bit more timeless. Then kitchen appliances. So the fridge freezer was £395, the dishwasher was £359, the cooker hood was £179, and the oven and gas hob were £299. Then labor, so the kitchen installation was £1,675. As you know, we do as much ourselves as we possibly can. Labor was something in the kitchen that we paid a lot more for than any other room. We did get a carpenter to come in and install the kitchen. It took him 67 hours and it cost us £1,675. This is one of those scenarios where you look at the time it would take you, the possibility of it having a great finish, and how much it would cost you to get done professionally, and we decided in this instance, let's get it done professionally. Same for the plastering. Plastering is one thing we haven't done at all in this house. We think the finish is so important. So we got our usual plasterer in, he included all of the materials, and it cost us £440. And then when installing that back door, we had to cut through very thick brick. And for this, we rented a petrol disc cutter at £24. So before I say what the total cost is, I do have to mention that a bunch of stuff was included as it was just leftover materials from previous parts of the house. So we've got 100mm insulation, the 22mm chipboard, all the plumbing bits, all the electrical wires and bits, sand and cement for when we leveled the floor, and underlay and vapor tape. All of these things aren't too expensive, so I don't think they would add a significant amount of cost to the job, but I just didn't want to ignore those and then you come across them yourselves and discover that they're extra. So the total for everything we did to this kitchen was £12,105. Now, that's obviously the most expensive room of any of the rooms so far, but everything you could do to a room except for an extension, we did to this room. New window, new back doors, increased the size of the back doors, installed the timber, heightened the floors, new concrete floors, just everything has been done to this room. So I think it's a pretty good deal for everything that we did to it. And given the state of the kitchen and the fact that it was probably the room that made me not want to put an offer in the first place, I'm so happy with how it turned out. We've got those double doors that take us outside. We've had plenty of barbecue, friends over, going through the lounge, through the kitchen, making cocktails on the counters. It's just turned out exactly how we wished it would, and we're super, super happy with it. So what did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts below. Hope you've enjoyed finally getting to see what the kitchen looked like. And if you did, give it a like. If you want to follow for more rooms, the upstairs bathroom is next. Give us a subscribe, and I promise I will see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.